Hi, good afternoon. I'm here in Palm Springs. I'm so happy to have our filmmakers here for Dances with Films in Los Angeles. I have seen the film and I'm going to have them go ahead and introduce themselves. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much, Valerie. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Norlian, and I am the co-director, co-creator of Meandering Scars.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kody Leibowitz. I am the co-director and co-creator of Meandering Scars.
Yes. And when will the movie be shown at Dances with Films again?
Our world premiere is going to be this Saturday, June 28th at 10:30 in the morning.
Great. Okay. Thank you for being with us. So I'm sure you've been asked this lots of times, but what inspired you both to tell Erica Bogan's story and how did you first connect with her?
You were the first person to talk to Erica.
Okay, I will try to keep this spark in the Spark Notes version, not go too detailed. But Kody and I, for just to give some background, we have known each other since we were interns in college. So yeah, it's been quite a number of years. We both became reporters. We're both former journalists, and fast forward, we decided to take our journalism career and essentially, in our eyes, documentary is an extension of journalism. And so we decided to walk away from traditional news and enter the world of documentary and filmmaking. And so we started a production company in 2020 called Birdmine, and we weren't sure what our first documentary was going to be. We just knew, because I'm a disability advocate, my older sister is profoundly disabled, and my grandmother had MS and used a chair full time, a wheelchair. So I had basically asked Kody if a lot of my journalism had been centered on the disability community, and I really wanted to continue that. And so I said, I'd like for our first documentary to be in that vein, but we weren't sure what the doc was going to be. So we decided, hey, let's do what journalists do. We'll create content that we'll put on our social media pages, our YouTube page. And our first sort of series that we were going to create was highlighting people with disabilities making an impact in the fitness industry. So we were introduced to Paralympians. We were introduced to people with disabilities who were making strides in the CrossFit community, in Spartan races and obstacle course racing. And through that outreach, we were introduced to Erica Bogan. We were introduced to her as a CrossFit and Spartan athlete. And so I did a pre-interview with her for the series. We were going to, again, just post online. And at the very end of this pre-interview, Erica, as we like to say, buried the lead and said, by the way, I'm climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And I said, excuse me? And then she told me why she was doing it. And the next thing you know, this becomes our first documentary.
Do you have anything else to add, Kody?
No, it was just Allison came to me immediately after that and said, we're going to need to scratch the idea of this series because I think we found our actual first film. And I said, wait, what? And she told me, and I said, Kilimanjaro? Okay, let's try to go find some money that we can go do this and let's do it. And we just had a number of follow-up interviews with Erica just to see if the story holds up still. What were her reasons for doing it? And that's where we fell in love with her journey and her story.
So from the beginning, did you envision Kilimanjaro, the climb, as a central metaphor, or did that evolve during the filmmaking process?
I think for us, it was always this MacGuffin, right? Because we wanted to understand what it was like to be disabled in America. What did it look like for Erica as our through line for that in her life and her story? What was causing the suicidal ideation and her own mental health, her depression, her anxiety, et cetera, et cetera? And we had to delay Kilimanjaro once, and then we're like, okay, no matter when you go, whether it's the following year, whether it's years down the line, we're still going to go with you and we're still going to film with you. But we always envisioned, I think from the beginning, this metaphorical climb, and then it turned into a reality and a reality climb where we were actually on the mountain with her. So it started with that and then went into that actual climb and then further into how we scripted and wrote and edited the film.
Okay, the documentary was filmed over 4 years. What were some of the biggest creative or logistical challenges during that time? I know there were many because I've seen the film, but maybe you want to give me one or two of the most.
Climbing and filming on a mountain is no easy feat. It took a lot of pre-planning for us to ensure that we would be able to accomplish it. And I have to shout out our DP Valentina V, who has done a lot of filmmaking, just adventurous filmmaking, if you will. And she really helped us come up with a plan, including solar energy that we attempted to use. It didn't always work to charge batteries, charge the things on the mountain. We had our plan every day where we had to bring enough batteries. We couldn't bring certain pieces of equipment because of just the weight. And it was already going to be such a treacherous hike. And we were going to be carrying so much weight. Kody and I had to train with weight vests because neither of us before this were mountain climbers and neither of us were used to doing anything like this. So yeah, there was so much pre-planning. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. I was going to get into that too, that during filmmaking, you must have had to pivot your narrative or reconsider your approach. Is that correct? Is it a lot of times like that?
There were, Valerie. One of them was so our timeline was really condensed to begin with. It was, I think we really planned for maybe 2 years instead of a 4-year journey from the initial research phase to the time the film was finished, filming and post-production and then animation and everything at the end. We thought it was only going to be 2 years, and then the Delta variant and Erica had an injury from training. Both of those combined into having to delay for a year. And we initially were going to finish the film on the mountain and then go from there into post-production. And when we had to delay, Allison and I started talking about what we wanted to see with this film, and we didn't want to just end on the mountain. We really wanted to understand and dissect where Erica would be post climb, whether she made it to the top or not. Where was she going to be? And so mentally, in her pursuit for advocacy, when it came to disability rights and when it came to mental health awareness and suicidal ideation awareness within the disability community. So we asked her if we could film right after the climb. And so that took I lived in Charlotte for about a full month afterwards, after we got the blessing from her. And then after the climb, I went to Charlotte for a month and filmed with her. And then Allison and Valentina went with her for the final 4 days in February of 23 and filmed with her. And we pivoted right there, and we knew that's how we were going to end the final quarter of the film. About 20 minutes worth of the film, 18 to 20 minutes worth of the film was where are you at mentally and emotionally with your scars? And it's something that Erica says, but it's really embodiment of where was Erica at that time post climb.
I want to get into a little bit of Birdmine, of your company. Birdmine is focused on bold and socially conscious storytelling. How does this project, Meandering Scars, reflect your company's values and maybe your future direction?
Sure, I'll start and then I'll throw it to you, Kody. I think not just me in general and also our company, right? Like one of our goals is to change the way the world views disability. And Meandering Scars, in my opinion, it does that. And I hope that even if we can change the way one person views disability, that will feel like a success to me. Meandering Scars, it shows Erica in all her authenticity, right? She's human, right? So of course, we're watching a woman accomplish something incredible, but you're also seeing her highs and her lows, and you're seeing her as a whole person. And I think that is something that I hope people get from this film. I hope that they realize people with disabilities are whole people, and they can accomplish something as incredible as climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and they're also going to mess up and have bad days like we all do. And yeah, I think Meandering Scars, when it comes to it touches on so many themes: disability, mental health, domestic violence. It's advocating for a better world where, these realities, where disability is accepted, where mental health is accepted, where domestic violence is not accepted. So it's touching on all of these various themes that are important to Kody and me, and we hope that the film helps create a better world, and in turn it's all representative of the people we are and the company that we hope to, and our company. Yeah.
It's so within Meandering Scars, I think one of the big things is that we've noticed with films in past, and it's getting a lot better, right? Because we see some brilliant filmmakers. But what we've noticed in the past, and this is not just a film industry thing. This is in news. This is in media as a whole. In particular, when it comes to historically and currently marginalized groups, what ultimately happens is you have to have this perfect subject or this perfect character to come out, and there's no mistakes. Otherwise, if that mistake comes, then there's a judgment for an entire community. So that's the entire weight of one person on an entire community. And if you mess up once, then how does that look? And that's not what Meandering Scars is. Meandering Scars shows Erica's scars entirely. She is, for us, a perfect subject because she's so imperfect, right? A lot of us get to mess up in life because of our class, because of our gender, because of our race. And we're allowed to show our scars and we're allowed to mess up and we're allowed to show our fault lines. That's not always the case for folks in the disability community. And so we want to, as Allison said, change that view and understand that there's so many great stories in the diversity of a disability community or disabled brethren. And we hope that Erica is able to show that. Now, what does that mean for Birdmind? It means that's the type of storytelling we want to show further in other films, whether it is narrative or whether it's documentary, and show these human first, human centric, person first type of stories and show that through line to what is going on in society. What do we need to look at when it comes to the structures and systems at play, and how do we continue to do that through whether it's research or whether it's conversation, a little bit of everything to continue to make the world a better place, a less violent place, a more accepting place, a place where the mental health struggles that we are witnessing in this country for, we can even just take it to the last 5 years since COVID, but really you can go even further than that, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, decades. How can we continue to do better to make this a place where we can continue to have conversations with one another, understand our differences, but also look at each other's stories and go, huh, I can relate to you because of X, Y, and Z. We're not so different.
Okay. Congratulations for being at Dances with Films, one of my favorite film festivals. And how can our readers and our viewers find out more about you and Birdmind and the film? Social media or website?
Yeah, both. We have websites for Birdmind, birdmind.com, meanderingscars.com, and we are also on Instagram and Facebook.
Love it. Okay. Kody, you got something to add?
No, I was just going to say it's at Birdmind Stories for Instagram and for Facebook, and then at Meandering Scars on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Wonderful. We're the HollywoodTimes.today and aspiringmagazine.com, and our YouTube channel is the Hollywood Times Official. Thank you both for joining me here today. Good luck with the film, and keep me posted on your future endeavors, please.
Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Thanks, Valerie.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.